Hello friends, welcome back to Movie Minute Recaps, where we bring you a new movie summary every single day. Today we're recapping the American drama film Flight, released in 2012. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie yet, be careful. Major plot points ahead, enjoy the recap. The movie opens with a plane soaring high in the sky. Next, we see the pilot, Whip Whitaker, waking up with flight attendant Katerina. Later, he's arguing with his ex-wife over the phone about their child's tuition fees, cussing her out in frustration. After the call, Whip snorts a line and smokes before getting ready for his next flight. In the following scene, there's dark, stormy, rainy weather as Whip prepares for takeoff. He chats briefly with another flight attendant, Margaret, and meets his co-pilot, Ken Evans. Evans is a bit worried about Whip's odd behavior. As soon as Whip announces they're ready to go, the scene shows a woman named Nicole sneaking out with a big red bag. She puts it in her car and drives off to meet a guy named Kip, who's filming for an adult content series. Kip tries to convince Nicole to take a role, but she refuses and keeps asking him for drugs, admitting she's not clean and needs a fix. Meanwhile, Whip and Evans take off despite the bad weather. Whip takes control and flies the plane so aggressively that Evans gets scared. The passengers start to panic as the plane speeds up, but eventually they make it through the storm and into clear skies. Whip hands the controls over to Evans. Later, Whip addresses the passengers, apologizing for the rough start and assuring them the rest of the flight will be smooth and they'll land safely in about 40 minutes. While talking, he secretly pours alcohol into a juice bottle and starts drinking. Back to Nicole. She's using drugs with a needle, looking frustrated and out of control. Suddenly, she overdoses and collapses. On the flight, Whip has fallen asleep in the pilot's seat. Evans complains about flying solo for the last 26 minutes because of Whip's carelessness. Suddenly, the engine malfunctions and Evans loses control. The turbulence wakes Whip up, and he quickly tells Margaret to calm the passengers and have them fasten their seatbelts. Both pilots struggle to regain control, but the hydraulics have failed and the stabilizers are jammed. Whip keeps talking to emergency services, asking for help as the plane keeps descending. A violent jolt knocks a stewardess unconscious. Trying to save everyone, Whip flips the plane upside down. The passengers are terrified, crying and praying, but Whip stays calm. He does everything he can, but the engines die, and the plane clips the top of a church before crash landing in a field. The next scene is chaos. There's blood everywhere. Locals are helping pull people from the wreckage, and many are injured or dead. Whip wakes up in the hospital, where his friend Charlie is waiting. The police arrive and inform him that 2 flight attendants and 4 passengers died, with many more injured. Still, Charlie and the officer thank Whip for saving so many lives, calling his landing a miracle. Soon after, a funny, heavyset man named Harling Mays visits Whip in the hospital. He shows Whip that the public is outside, praising him as a hero. Whip has gone viral in the media for his miraculous landing. Looking for a place to smoke, Whip heads to the stairwell and runs into Nicole. She tries to leave, but he convinces her to stay and smoke with him. A cancer patient named Mark joins them, talking about God's plans and fate, saying everything happens for a reason, including the crash and their meeting. After Mark leaves, Nicole gets up too, but Whip asks to see her after they're both discharged. She agrees and gives him her address. Whip is released from the hospital, and Mays sneaks him out the back to avoid the press. Since Whip's house is surrounded by media, Mays takes him to an old farmhouse. There, Whip starts cleaning up, throwing out alcohol and old meds, and even flushes a bag of herbs, determined to sober up. One night, while watching TV, Whip gets a call from Charlie, who asks to meet after Whip's upcoming medical checkup. A few days later, Whip meets Charlie and a lawyer named Hugh Lang, sent by the pilots union to discuss the crash. Hugh reveals that Whip's blood tests showed high levels of alcohol and drugs during the crash. If proven, Whip could lose his pilot's license. Feeling down, Whip goes to a liquor store, buys alcohol, and starts drinking again. He then looks for Nicole's address and finds out she's being abused by her landlord for not paying rent. Whip pays her rent to help her out, and since Nicole has nowhere else to go, he invites her to stay at his place. Whip starts worrying about his reputation, fearing that if he stays hidden, people will ruin his career. He considers facing the media again. He meets Margaret, who tells him she knew he was drunk during the crash and threatens to tell the press. Whip, emotional, reminds her that he saved her life. Later, Whip visits Evans in the hospital. Evan says he hasn't told the police anything because he believes Whip saved his life. Back home, Whip talks with Nicole. She tells him she got a job and is trying to quit drinking by joining a support group. She asks Whip to join her, but he refuses, saying he doesn't have time. Arguing. They argue and Nicole leaves. After she's gone, Whip loses control and starts drinking heavily again. The media soon finds his farmhouse, so Whip drives to his ex-wife and son's house. They realize he's drunk and don't let him stay. As he leaves, the media swarms him, but he manages to escape after giving vague answers. Charlie and Hugh confront Whip, telling him his behavior is making things worse and could have serious consequences. Arguing. They argue, but Whip eventually admits his mistakes. They want to help him, but his drinking makes it hard. For the next 8 days, Charlie keeps Whip with him. Hugh manages to get Whip's alcohol test thrown out on a technicality, but Whip still has to testify before Ellen Block, the NTSB investigator. The night before the hearing, Whip is taken to a hotel room that's been cleared of all alcohol, with a guard to watch him. Whip tries to relax but can't because of his addiction. He ignores the documents Hugh gave him and, searching for alcohol, finds a hidden room stocked with liquor. He tries to resist, but ends up drinking as much as he can and passes out in the bathroom. The next day, Charlie and Hugh find Whip still unconscious. They call Harling, who gives Whip drugs to stabilize him. At the hearing, Whip appears steady and normal. Block tells him the crash was due to mechanical failure, not his fault. She mentions 2 bottles of alcohol found on the plane, accessible only to the crew, and asks who they belong to. They discuss Katerina's history with drugs and alcohol, suggesting she might be responsible. But Whip finally confesses that he was the one drinking, admitting he's still drunk and took drugs before the hearing. In the next scene, Whip is in prison, serving a 13-month sentence. He's quit drinking, realized his mistakes, and repaired his relationship with his ex-wife and son. Later, his son visits him in prison, calling Whip the most fascinating person he's ever known and interviewing him for a college essay. In the final scene, Whip smiles at his son, and the story comes to an end. If you enjoyed this recap, please leave a like or comment to let us know which movie you'd like to see next. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a movie recap. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.